Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Crazy D's Equipment on this beautiful spring day. Hey dude, last week we went over the N-Series 4 tractors, and in that video I mentioned that this time of year reminds me of mowing season, and it reminds me of those tractors. And I was thinking maybe we need to go over things you need to do to your tractor before you wake it up from that long winter's nap. So let's go over and take a look at the tractor and go over a few things, and then yeah, definitely it's time to mow. Let's go, guys. So guys, let's just go over this tractor. We'll go over some of the things that you need to check out before you start a big job like this. First thing in the spring after the tractor's been sitting all winter long. The first thing I always do, and the first thing I recommend you do, is to check your radiator. Check your coolant, make sure your coolant's still good, make sure it's full, make sure it's at the correct level, and that it's ready to go. Next thing I would probably do is I would recommend check your engine oil. Make sure your engine oil is at the proper levels and it's clean and ready to go. And the little tip from me on that one is I recommend the last job you do in the fall or early winter with your tractor, and you go to put it up and you're not going to use it again for the rest of the year, is to go to work, change the oil then. It's better for the tractor to sit over the winter with clean oil in it than to sit over the winter with the oil that you've used all summer and spring and first part of winter. Go ahead and get that oil out of the tractor and get a fresh filter and everything ready to go. And plus, when it comes to spring, you can pretty much just pull her out, check a few things and go. You don't need to worry about it then. The next thing I would check if I was you, and I recommend you checking, is to check your tranny, check your transmission fluid, make sure that your transmission fluid is at the correct level, that it looks good, that it's ready to go. On this tractor, there's a dipstick, which is very handy. On other tractors, you have to open a little plug and look down in there and see where your levels are. You don't have to do it on this tractor, but on other tractors, you'll have hydraulic fluid for cylinders and setter stuff like that. And that go ahead and check that. Usually you got to open the cap. Sometimes you're lucky and there's a dipstick for that. Sometimes there's not. Otherwise, you just open it and look in there, make sure she's full and she's ready to go. The last and final thing I always would recommend you checking is the battery. Make sure your battery points are clean. Make sure that your battery is not too old, that it's not going to go out on you before the year's up. Go ahead and check that. If it's a lawnmower battery, one of those little ones with have about a year warranty on them, just plan on changing it. Very rarely do those last more than a year. I've not had very good luck in the past with those. I mean, I've had a few last 2, 3, maybe 5 years, but the majority of those little batteries like that last about a year. And it don't matter if it comes from Walmart or if it comes from the TSC store or the local hardware store. They're all pretty much made the same and they last about the same amount of time. Those are just a few things I check. Also, one other thing I might definitely do is you need to check your tire pressures on your tractor. You need to make sure that you're running about 20 on the back and that your fronts, I run about 40, 45 depending on the tractor. Sometimes like a tractor like this, I'd probably only run about 35 on it. But those are just those are a few things on that. So let's go back and look at the mower and let's go over a few things on that. So let's go over some of the things that you need to do to your mower before you use it come spring. This is just an old Ford mower that was brought out to the lot. It's in too poor of a shape to end up on the lot, but yet it's good enough that I can use it out here, and that's exactly what I plan to do with it. So a lot of people will call this a bush hog. It's actually called a rotary mower, just like this is actually called an adjustable wrench, but most people will call it a crescent wrench. So the first things I'm going to do before this thing goes out in the field and mows is I'm going to check my grease zerks. I'm going to grease the tail wheel. I'm going to grease the the PTO drive shaft, and while I got the grease gun out, I might as well get the ones on the tractor too that I missed earlier. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up right here, and I'm going to check this gearbox, why I got this in my hand anyways, and see if it has enough oil or grease or whatever the gearbox on this one calls for, and make sure it's ready to go. The next thing we want to do is we want to raise this thing up, and you want to get underneath and you want to look at where the blades are. You want to see if that shaft has wiggle or if it's solid. You don't want any wiggle. That means that something's going out and something bad's going to happen. While you're underneath there, you might as well, if everything's good, go ahead and sharpen the blades, or at least see if they're sharpened and they're ready to go. So once you got all that done and you've checked all this out and you made sure the mower's ready to go and your tractor's ready to go and everything's hooked up and it's ready to head out to the field, the next thing I would do is I would find me a teenage boy and put him on the tractor, because that makes your life so much easier. So as we let the boy get some work done here, I just want to say, guys, thank you for coming in and watching another episode of Crazy D's Equipment. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and to hit the bell icon so you know the next time another video comes up. Please remember to tell your friends about us, and you know, as they say, the definition of success is watching somebody else mow your lawn. Thank you guys very much for watching.